Hi, everybody. Pastor Larry, and welcome to House of Joy at the church. That's where we are tonight. And all this week, if you're wondering where we've been, I wanted to hop on here for just a few minutes and just let you know that we've been having so much going on. Been a busy summer. We're in the middle of our VBS program. It's backwards, but Destination Dig. If you are not familiar with this, it's amazing. I mean, you may have seen the pictures on our Facebook walls of what's been going on here. Just a tremendous turnout. The kids are getting so blessed and so uplifted by this midsummer break for them. They get to come and play games and learn scriptures and songs and get involved in all kinds of activities. And my wife and a bunch of the really great people at the church have just been pouring out their hearts. Kim Duncan, her sister April, all of these people have just been really, really pouring into this, and so many other people that just the list is too long to mention right now. But it's just been an amazing week. And, we started all this on legal 4th of July, which is the 5th of July. And we talked about freedom on Sunday. And, one of the things that we appreciate that we're able to get together and do this kind of thing is the fact that we have this freedom. We have this amazing freedom, and this freedom is not given to us by man. It's not awarded to us for any reason other than the fact that God has blessed us. Just as the song says, God shed his grace upon us and given us this amazing land where we live and we enjoy this freedom. So I'm going to talk a little bit about freedom. I'm going to speak to that tonight and just kind of expound a little bit about what I shared on Sunday before the service. Speaking of Sunday, next Sunday, the 11th day of July 2021, Robert Preston is back with us for another wonderful taste of heaven. Just the glory of God fell the past few times he's been here, and we're just excited that he's joining us now every couple of weeks. He's got a tremendous ministry going on in the French Quarter of New Orleans, and in fact, if you're in the Dauphine Street area or if you're in the New Orleans area, you might want to go to his meetings. They're having 50 nights of revival in the French Quarter on Dauphine Street, just off Bourbon Street. So I'm going to be over there doing worship 1 or 2 nights or however many nights they'll have me, but I'm just so excited to be a part of what is going on with Robert and Frankie Preston in the New Orleans area. It's truly an amazing appointed relationship that God has built and ordained. Let me share with you about this. In Galatians chapter 5, verse 1, it says, "Stand fast, therefore, in the liberty by which Christ has made us free, and do not be entangled again in the yoke of bondage." Now, in Galatians here, Paul is speaking to the church about this freedom that I just shared about. There is a freedom that God gives and that we have no right to other than the fact that we have this engrafted, this wonderfully anointed freedom, this grace, this blessing from heaven that smiles on us. And it was the intention for every man to have freedom. And actually, our freedom, it says he came to give us life and that more abundantly. That's what Jesus came for. Life and that more abundantly. What is life if it's not free? What would your freedom be if every morning you got up and you had to walk around in a 3x5 cell? That's not freedom, friend. That's just existing. But you see, we have this freedom that's been given to us, and I'm sure anyone who's been in the prison system can tell you that life in prison is not fun. So, there are some things that you need to do if you're going to walk in this freedom. And if you want to be taken seriously about your freedom, you have to take yourself seriously. And we see in this country right now that people are not taking their freedom seriously. They're not appreciating their freedom for what it is. And they're allowing, if you read what Paul said, they're becoming entangled again in the yoke of bondage. One of the problems with Egypt was the biggest problem was not Moses and his gang. The biggest problem was that they were a land back in biblical times that believed in slaves. They enslaved people, and anyone who enslaves people is going to end up enslaved themselves. And so we see that the freedom that we enjoy in this life has been because we have enabled others to be free. People say, why do y'all go into countries and fight other people's wars? Why do y'all do all this stuff? Well, my friend, let me give you the lowdown on why we do it. We do it because we are liberators. We are a people of liberators. And if you want to be taken seriously, you have to take yourself seriously. You have to take your God seriously. You have to take your faith seriously, because let me tell you, that is not a gift that was given to us by the government. That's why we all came here. That's why our ancestors came here. And whether you're related to the people on the Mayflower and the Nina and the Pina and the Santa Maria, by virtue of the fact that you came to this country, you enjoy the inheritance that these people brought here. So we've got to take ourselves seriously. This country has to begin to walk in that freedom. And then next, commitment isn't just about saying you're committed, it's about being faithful. Faithfulness is something that even if you work for a corporation, a company, they look at your faithfulness. They look at whether or not you walk in a degree of faithfulness, whether or not your life is a display of dedication to what it is that you do. The people who do best in this life, the people who succeed, are not people who are necessarily gifted in what they're doing. They are gifted in what they're doing because they've given their all to be good at what they're doing. They're faithful at what they said they were going to do. They went in, and they may not have known everything that was happening at the time, but they marched to faithfulness. And no matter what the situation, no matter how good or bad the situation, no matter how much it smiled on them or it frowned on them, they were faithful to the situation. And those are the people who become successful. Forgive my squeaky chair, if you can hear that on the microphone. But in regard to faithfulness, you can never outdo yourself when it comes to faithfulness. Because if anything else, people will say that you're faithful, that you were faithful to what God put before you. And if you continue to walk in it, even if you're not happy, if you're not satisfied with where you are, God will bring you to the next level. I posted something on Facebook earlier this week that I got from somebody else that basically said the only way you'll go to a higher level with God is to be satisfied and to walk faithfully right where you are right now. The flag was manufactured as stripes and stars. And, the flag we have today is 13 stripes and 50 stars. Those 13 stripes represent the original colonies that paid in blood for our freedom. Now, the 50 stars are the committed states. They're the committed sovereigns that exist within that organization that respect the price that was paid by the representatives of those 13 stripes. Let me read something to you from Romans chapter 5. Paul also writes to the Roman church, and he says, "For while we were still without strength, in due time Christ died for the ungodly." While we were still without strength, in due time, Christ died for the ungodly. "For scarcely for a righteous man one will die, yet perhaps for a good man someone would even dare to die. But God demonstrates, look at this, his own love toward us. He's faithful to us, that while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. Much more then, having now been justified by his blood, we shall be saved from wrath through him. For if when we were enemies, we were reconciled to God through the death of his Son, much more, having been reconciled, we shall be saved by his life. And not just that, but we also rejoice in God through our Lord Jesus Christ, through whom we have now received the reconciliation. God is faithful. God is faithful as we are supposed to live our lives faithful. And you see, I realize we're all human and we all blow it. I've blown it, you've blown it, I've blown it. But when we are trying, when we are faithful, even in the tough stuff, even in the tall grass, as the golfers would say, you go after the ball and you hit it out of the grass and you get it back on the fairway, right? 245 years. That's a long distance between the shot heard round the world and where we are right now. You know, a recent CBS poll showed that only about half of Americans even know what we celebrate on Independence Day. Half of America. And you know, an even less percentage of people who are young, our school-age kids. Well, you can thank cancel culture and you can thank the rewriting of the history books for that. But if you want to hear an even more astounding statistic, however you want to call it, people immigrating into this country, legal immigrants, people who come here and want to become citizens, contributors, they rank in the 75 to 80 percentile of people who actually know what our country is all about, how it was founded, what we celebrate every Independence Day. God's called us to be faithful to what He's placed in our hand, and that's what we need to do today. We're going to get out of here right now because, let me see, 15 minutes from now, we are going to be flooded with kids out here, and I've got to be out there. I'm one of the good cop, bad cop guys, so I've got to get out there. But it's been a pleasure visiting with you today on Facebook and YouTube, and keep watching for us. We'll be back with a more regular schedule next week after some of the insanity has calmed down and we get kind of relaxed and rested from it. We thank you for your prayers, your offerings, your gifts. You can give to us through our PayPal link or through Tithely. Just look for Joy Fellowship Church on the Tithely app, or you can go to YouTube and you can donate through YouTube at PayPal.me/Joy Fellowship Church. And that's all you got to do. And you can sow into our work. We thank you for being with us. Join us Sunday at 10 o'clock at 1510 Lindbergh Drive, the I-10 service road. We're right here by Gauze. We're in the middle of everything. God just put us in this precarious spot for a time such as this. We're so happy. We love you. God bless you. Y'all take care. We'll see you soon. Bye.